Ever since Elon took over Twitter, I've told people not to get their hopes up too high about him restoring free speech and reinstating a bunch of banned accounts for popular and controversial users. It sure has been fun watching the liberal media continue to melt down over their fears of what he's going to do. And when I say that Elon got in over his head, he doesn't know what he's doing, the fanboys insulted me and said, well, he's the richest, smartest man in the world. You're just a dumb YouTuber. Of course he knows what he's doing. Well, this is the culture war in 2022. This isn't a car company. This isn't even aeronautical engineering. And so now Elon has made his first policy changes. And of course, I was right again. He says new Twitter policy is freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach, which is literally an ADL talking point. Negative hate tweets will be maximum deboosted and demonetized. So no ads or other revenue to Twitter. You won't find the tweet unless you specifically seek it out, which is no different from the rest of the internet. So what he means there is if you use certain words or if you respond to certain people, making certain arguments, presenting certain facts, then when you click on a trending topic, that tweet's not going to show up in the list of popular tweets, even if it has a ton of interaction. So the way the algorithm usually works is if a tweet has a bunch of thumbs up and a bunch of replies, it's higher in the algorithm. So if you click on something that's on the trending topics list, then the supposed popular tweets will show up in the list there of people discussing that topic. So now Elon is not going to, and they never really did allow a lot of topics and a lot of tweets with certain keywords in them to show up in that list. So he is doubling down on that philosophy. But unfortunately, things get much worse. When Elon asked, what should Twitter do next? Of course, a bunch of people responded, making recommendations about which accounts he should unban, including this person who said, bring back Alex Jones. And then Elon responded, no. Of course, the Elon fanboys interpreted that meaning, well, that's just not his next priority. He's got plenty of other things. He's got to fix the platform first. But it stunned a lot of people. And so a lot of people started pressuring him again. Like, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you do that? Including Viva Freya. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's sort of a lawyer on YouTube that covers a lot of legal issues. And he said, Alex Jones is the litmus test, Elon. Not just the issue of freedom of speech, but on the issue of not bending the knee to political and judicial intimidation. If this is a hard no, your Twitter will never be any more trustworthy than Parag Agrawal or Jack Dorsey's Twitter. And Elon responded, too bad. He did, however, unban Kathy Griffin, the self-proclaimed comedian, who was recently banned for impersonating Elon, which is a major violation of the terms of service on any platform. That has nothing to do with content policy. That's just straight up fraud. So she was totally banned, permanent suspension, a ban. And so he reinstated her account, as he says, and Jordan Peterson and the Babylon Bee have been reinstated, which I don't even think it's fair to say that they were banned. They were locked out of their account. Yes, Twitter claimed that they violated the terms of service for misgendering a transgender person, and they took the principled stand of not clicking the link to acknowledge that Twitter claims they violated the policies because they didn't say anything wrong. And I think that's just cutting off their nose to spite their face, and then they used it as a publicity stunt just to drum up a bunch of attention. He went on to say that the Trump decision has not yet been made, so we'll see what happens with that. Jordan Peterson then quickly took to Twitter to double down on his statements that he made in a recent interview, where he urges Elon Musk to ban people from using Twitter if they don't use their real name. Jack Dorsey responded to Jordan Peterson saying that would be a big mistake. Elon Musk begins reinstating banned Twitter accounts, starting with Jordan Peterson and the Babylon Bee. And last time I pointed this out that I don't think it was a principled stand. I think it was him cutting off his nose to spite his face and just getting attention. Of course, the Jordan Peterson fans started sounding off in the comments, you're just not as principled as him. He's a very principled man. If you're going to follow that line of logic, then that would be like a character in the Saw horror series had one of their loved ones kidnapped and held captive. And in order to free them, there was just a button that they had to press. It would set them free. But the button says, if you press this button, you also agree that your wife is ugly and she's a terrible mother. And so Jordan Peterson, because he's such a principled man, he wouldn't press the button. I'm not going to admit to a falsehood. I'm not going to cave into the demands of a kidnapper like that. Contrary to popular belief, Alex Jones was not banned for his comments about the families in Connecticut, which were crazy. I'm not defending those. And his trial was a sham. That's a whole other story. They default judgment him because the judge said to turn over the analytics from his YouTube channel, which had been deleted, so he didn't have them. So then they claimed that he wasn't complying with discovery. That's a whole other story. He was literally banned because he live streamed on Twitter through their Periscope app at the time a confrontation, not even a confrontation, a conversation, really, with CNN's Oliver Darcy at the U.S. Capitol, right outside of a hearing about free speech on social media, where he basically just called him a traitor. Now, Elon may be concerned that if he allows Alex Jones back on the platform, that Apple and Google may ban the app from the app stores. And that's actually a legitimate concern. But what's interesting is Alex Jones is allowed on Truth Social, which is in the Apple App Store. I don't know if it's in the Google App Store yet. It was reportedly approved for the Google App Store, but it is in the Apple App Store. And Alex Jones is allowed on the platform. The same with Getter. Getter is allowed in the App Store, and there is Alex Jones' verified account. The same with Parler. Here's his official Parler account. And Parler is back in the App Store. They got banned, you may recall, after the mostly peaceful protest at the Capitol on January 6th. And then after doing some retooling and then applying an artificial intelligence hate speech, free speech filter, they were then allowed back into the App Store. And Alex Jones is over there. Of course, he's allowed on Gab, but Gab is not allowed in the App Store. Gab was banned from the App Store years ago because they will not bow to the rules of Apple and Google. So most people have this idea that in order for an app to work, that it has to be in the App Store. And if it's not in the App Store, it just isn't on the internet. But you can go to gab.com and you can save the website to your home screen, and then it looks just like an app. It functions just like an app, except it doesn't have push notifications like an app, which is actually better, especially for social media, because then you control the app doesn't control you. You can check the app, you can check your notifications in the app at your leisure. You're not always getting pinged and then having your attention diverted to the app. Now, to be fair, Elon did post this poll yesterday asking if he should reinstate former President Trump. And as you can see, it's slightly over 50%. So he may. And he may argue that it's different to have a former president reinstated other than an extremist figure like Alex Jones or the Proud Boys. And again, I've been telling you that the litmus test is going to be the Proud Boys or Alex Jones. And he's already doubled down that he's not going to let Alex Jones on, and I would highly doubt that he's going to allow the Proud Boys back on, especially in an official capacity, their official account. He's going to go with the ADL, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and he's going to say, they were convicted of crimes of trying to overthrow the government, and so we're not going to allow a criminal organization to be back on Twitter. But he does allow the supreme leader of Iran to be on Twitter, and Yoel Roth, the former head of the Trust and Safety Department, the head censor, who replaced Vijaya Gotti, who was the head censor, just wrote an op-ed in the New York Times yesterday saying, I was the head of Trust and Safety at Twitter. This is what could become of it. And he outlines some of the very real problems that Elon is going to be facing, not just with an exodus of advertisers, and Elon's goal is to replace that revenue with a subscription model, which would be fantastic. But then he also outlines here, there is one more source of power on the web, one that most people don't think that much about, but which may be the most significant check on unrestrained speech on the mainstream internet. The app stores, operated by Google and Apple. Again, I've been cautiously optimistic and hopeful that Elon would reinstate free speech and bring Twitter back to the glory days, but at the same time, I've been critical and doubtful, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they do ban him from the App Store, especially if he reinstates President Trump's account, because not only does he have the entire liberal media industrial complex against him, which of course includes the app stores, but also the deep state, the government. He is enemy number one, which is why I've been supportive of him. But again, I have to be honest, I've been doubtful that he even knows what he's getting into, and now we're starting to see some of the shortcomings of Elon's ownership. Now, Elon has stated that, quote, buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app, adding that Twitter probably accelerates X, the development or the launch, by 3 to 5 years. Elon has basically admitted that he's going to use the conversations on Twitter to teach his artificial intelligence system called OpenAI how to become more supposed intelligent. And he is a transhumanist. Some of the people don't believe me when I say this. They think that I'm totally crazy. And the ones who maybe know a little bit about his company Neuralink say it's just to help disabled people. That's a noble cause. No, he has said that he wants people to plug a computer chip into their brain to merge with AI or become irrelevant. He is a transhumanist. He believes that he's going to evolve into a god and he's going to go and colonize all of these other planets. He is a dangerous lunatic. This is literally Elon's vision of the future. Straight out of the Matrix, no exaggeration. And if you missed it, I'll leave a link to my in-depth report about transhumanism down in the description and in the comments below. Something that's not horrifying, however, is Trump Claus is back in a nice sweatshirt, t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, or a hoodie at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. It is also available in red, black, or green. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.